Well, civility was nowhere to be found over the holiday weekend at a massive union rally in Detroit, Michigan. Now, the event was headlined by President Barack Obama, but moments before he took to the stage, Teamsters President Jimmy Hoffa had this to say about the Tea Party.
We got to keep an eye on the battle that we face, a war on workers. And you see it everywhere. It is the Tea Party. And you know, there's only one way to beat and win that war. The one thing about working people is we like a good fight. And you know what? They got a war with us, and there's only going to be one winner. It's going to be the workers of Michigan and America. We're going to win that war. President Obama, this is your army. We are ready to march. And you know what? Everybody here has got to vote. If we go back and we keep the eye on the prize, let's take these son of a out and give America back to America where we belong. Thank you very much.
Now, almost immediately following that classless declaration of war was the president's turn to address the crowd. And rather than condemn the hateful rhetoric that was spewed by Hoffa, the president instead praised him by name, even saying he is, quote, proud of him. And now, even one day removed from Hoffa's speech, White House aides continue to cowardly avoid questions on the matter. Let's take a look.
Those weren't comments by the president. The president wasn't there. I mean, he wasn't on stage. He didn't speak for another 20 minutes. He didn't hear it. I really don't have any comment beyond that.
Now, the chair of the Democratic National Committee was also asked about the controversy today, but just like the White House, she too refused to stand up to Hoffa's hateful rhetoric. Take a look.
I'm talking about what Jimmy Hoffa said yesterday. I'm not talking about. I'm looking for a specific response to what Jimmy Hoffa said yesterday.
I know you would like.
Well, I would love to. You're the head of the DNC. I'm looking for an official response.
On language. That's not what the American people are focused on.
It was very serious language.
The American people are focused on job creation.
Well,
are you kidding me? Really?
No, I'm not.
All right, so whatever happened to the president's call for civility in the wake of the Tucson massacre, and why won't the leaders of the Democratic Party have the moral courage to speak out against all of the attacks on the Tea Party? Now, joining me to help answer those questions and much more, nationally syndicated radio talk show host out of Cincinnati, soon to have his own daytime TV show, my buddy Bill Cunningham, great American, Fox News contributor Tamara. All right, before we get to anything, let's go back to February. Let's listen to the president in February talking about the call for civility. Let's roll the tape.
Let us remember, it is not because a simple lack of civility caused this tragedy. It did not. But rather because only a more civil and honest public discourse can help us face up to the challenges of our nation in a way that would make them proud.
You know, let's get these sons of bitches. Let's see, the Tea Party is the real enemy. They're terrorists. They can go to hell. This is all the rhetoric. Here's the question, Tamara. The president lectures on civility. Then it's civility in his own party where it's over the top. Where is the president? Where is your president? Where is Barack Obama? And don't you think if he had any moral courage, he'd stand up to his own party?
Okay, well, again, to correct you, as I always do, this is our president, and these are our issues,
Your president,
Sean.
Barack Obama.
No.
Where is he?
This is the problem. The problem is that the right continues to take words from clips, from speeches.
Son of a bitch?
Yes.
Excuse me.
The issue is
we can go straight to hell.
Is that
son of a bitch, racist, terrorists, and barbarians at the gate. You want me to keep going?
Okay. Jimmy Hoffa did not say all of that. His issue is that people need to get out and vote, whether it's for Obama or for somebody else. All of the jobs are leaving the United States. Not one Apple product, Sean, is made in the United States. Not your son's iPod, not your son's
You're not going to answer the question.
iPad,
Bill Cunningham, let me go to you because you might answer this question. Bill Cunningham, great American. I see you chuckling and laughing and to my right, to the audience's left. Help me out here.
This is delicious hypocrisy. 16 years ago, when McVeigh blew up the federal building in Oklahoma City, Clinton went after Rush Limbaugh. And now the Hurricane Irene has been blamed on the Republicans because not enough infrastructure spending. We had in Cincinnati a couple days ago Biden show up, talk about barbarians. And you know, Sean, as a conservative, I like a red meat, bloody debate. I like it all. The problem is that when Republicans engage in some of the twisted rhetoric of the Democrats, they're lectured by the president not to do it. When Democrats do it, Obama's like one of those guys holding coats as two people begin to fight. pretending as if he had nothing to do with any of it. So what offends me as an American, Sean Hannity, is not the words that are used. Look at the kinds of things Jefferson said about John Adams back and forth. That's okay. It's the hypocrisy of the left that gives to themselves the honor of only determining what is good and what is bad. To me, it's tasty hypocrisy.
Hey, look, wait a minute. The president lectured us on civility. He lectured the country. Words that would make them proud, he said after the Tucson tragedy. Now, at that point, Democrats have been blaming Sarah Palin for using what Bob Beckel created, which is targeted districts. And they took it out of context. So the question here is, where is the civility, where is the rhetoric that Barack Obama would be proud of? And does he have the moral courage here, Tamara? And do you have the moral courage to stand up and tell your president, stand up to your own party, don't be a hypocrite, don't speak out of both sides of your mouth, and don't politicize the rhetoric?
Well, I think the problem here is that Jimmy Hoffa should have really said, what he was thinking, and that is that the unions have supported the Democrats, that the unions are now without jobs, people in America are without jobs, and if President Obama doesn't do something,
yeah, all right, Billy Cunningham, let's go back to 2008.
He's not going to have the union support.
Bill Cunningham, you actually were at a rally in Cincinnati. It was then candidate John McCain. And you were talking about Barack Hussein Obama. Let's go back to the videotape. Jay Carney was asked about it earlier today. Your controversy.
Some of us covered the campaign and recall a time when somebody made some harsh comments about then Senator Obama during the introduction of a McCain rally, and the Obama campaign was offended and expected an apology, and Senator McCain came out and did so.
Mr. Hoffa speaks for himself. He speaks for the labor movement, AFL-CIO. President speaks for himself. I speak for the president.
So the precedent you're setting right now for the 2012 election is the Republican candidates are the ones that we need to pay attention to, and those who introduce them at rallies, they're surrogates. You don't need to pay attention to anything that they say.
I think I've said what I can say about this.
Bill Cunningham, when you said Barack Hussein Obama, which, by the way, Barack Obama used those words himself when he became the president, took the oath of office. What happened to you with the McCain campaign?
As soon as I used the name Barack Hussein Obama, the New York Times reporter and the national networks got on top of John McCain and said, do you repudiate the remarks of Bill Cunningham? And all I did, Sean, I didn't talk about red meat issues. I didn't talk about barbarians. I didn't talk about hanging blacks. I didn't talk about the progeny of canines. What I did was use his full name, and the media leaped on McCain, who then leaped on me, which he considered to be his sister soldier moment, to separate himself from conservatives in March in Ohio, which made no sense. I said nothing except the full name of the president that he employed at his own inaugural. There's such a double standard. When a conservative like Joe Wilson yells liar from the House of Representatives, all Hades breaks loose. But what's going on here, Tamara, is that the president sends out the apostles to do his dirty work and then acts as if he's the piano player in a horror house, not knowing what's going on upstairs. That's the hypocrisy.
Okay, this has nothing to do with prostitution. This has to do with corporations sending all of their jobs overseas, and Republicans and Democrats and Tea Partiers and everybody alike is without.
Hoffa is, let me tell you, tell Hoffa to come on the program. Tell Hoffa to come on. You're buddies with him. Jimmy Hoffa, wait a minute. Let me tell you something. The leadership of unions, they take rank and file money and they pour it down the sewer so that they can hang out with the rich and the famous and lead lives of luxury.
They spoke to
Sean
me
Hannity, I don't mind if an old crusty truck driver like James Hoffa uses bad language. I like it. Truck drivers curse all the time. I'm okay with that. I worry about the blatant, tasty, meaty hypocrisy of the left that gives to conservatives no rights that they themselves take all the time when it comes to political rhetoric.
And your foul mouth really does good for this society.
I think so.